My son was on the full waiver a year ago and had 1 foot in a group home. Then he was reduced to Tier 4 and lost that opportunity. I have 2 questions. If my husband and I could find a way to fund his first year in a group home, would he then be, once established, be evaluated for a higher, be reevaluated for a higher tier? And can any of his Tier 4 funding, respite PCA, follow him during that first year in the group home?
Well, Tier 4 by law is limited to people who are in a family home or in supported living. So if the individual, and this is just the way that the law is written, it's Chapter 393.0661, if you want to look that up. It basically limits people in Tier 4 to those 2 types of settings. So that if someone is in a group home, they're going to get a different tier assignment. So that's really the best answer I can give to that question today. Again, we're trying to look at a way to, through the individual budget process, we may have a way of kind of loosening some of the restrictions that come with these 4 different tiers. But as the law stands today, Tier 4 is very specific to people in a family home or supported living, just as Tier 2 is limited to people who are in a group home or in supported living and get a certain level of care. Those are some of the issues that I've heard most about from families and consumers have been, why is Tier 2 off limits to someone that's in a family home? Well, the reason is because that's what the law says it has to be. And until that law changes, that's just what it has to be.
The program that you mentioned about putting money in a fund for future education, etc., how is this possible when you're not allowed to have over $2,000 in assets?
Well, again, this is not necessarily your own personal funds. This could be your family, and I believe that this will be a program that is going to ultimately be of more benefit to people who have young children, where the family income limits really don't apply. If the child gets into the Medicaid waiver program, they become a family of 1, and therefore their income, basically these children have no income. But this is a program, I believe, that's ultimately going to be more benefit to people that are actually planning 10, 15 years in advance, much like the college prepaid plan. I mean, they literally, the Florida ARC who came up with this idea, they literally borrowed that concept from the Florida prepaid tuition plan. So I expect you're going to see more parents of young children taking advantage of this than anyone else.
Okay, this was a family care question, and Betty Kay was going to answer. It's why is there not family care is not provided in Hernando County?
Well, you certainly have Family Care Council in Hernando County. You are part of the Area 13. You have 2 members that are relatively new members on the council. And in the next probably 6 weeks or so, we're looking at doing a forum there. How's that? Okay?
My son goes to the Forest Oak Health Department. Does the Medicaid coverage apply to their services for regular Medicaid?
It should. I mean, assuming that the county health department is a Medicaid provider, it should. If there's a specific issue there, let me encourage you to get with David and his staff and let them do a little research on this. If you're enrolled in the Medicaid program and you go to a Medicaid provider, Medicaid ought to pay the bill.
Can you say a few words that describe your view on personal outcomes?
I guess no comment is not. Well, I want to say that it's it is important for us to know whether the needs of the individuals that we serve are being met, whether we're providing services that are satisfactory to you. And personal outcomes is one way to get there. One of the things we are taking a look at, and I want to be a little careful how much detail I go into, because as I mentioned earlier, we're about to procure, we're in a process where we're going to be securing a different quality assurance process altogether. And there's going to be a competition, and to the extent that what I say here might give some potential vendor an unfair advantage, we'll be tied up in litigation forever. But let me just say that we're looking at going to another approach to actually tracking consumer satisfaction and whether the services that we provide are actually being of use. It is a more straightforward, it is a simpler system. The thing that's really, really attractive to me is that it is a system that is used, I believe, in 30 other states. And what that will give me as a manager is the ability to see how we stack up against other states. Today I don't have that context. So the scores that come to me today, they don't mean as much as they could because I don't have that point of comparison. So I really like what the personal outcomes is trying to measure. We feel there may be a better way to get there, though. So expect probably some changes in that area, along with the change to our quality assurance, because they really have gone hand in hand. Okay.
They're asking if you have a problem with the provider and the support coordinator isn't willing to get involved, what's the procedure for a complaint? You can contact any of the APD staff here today. You can email us. You can send it in writing to us. And at the website, there's different phone numbers. I can give you the phone number, or might be on one of the handouts. Or if not, come to the booth, the APD booth over here, and you'll be able to get some more numbers. Will transportation rates be standardized? There's a very wide range of rates currently.
Yes, there are. And I would love to get there one day. Right now, that is a big job, and we're doing a lot of other things right now. One of the things that, and this won't be an issue now that the Senate has dropped their 3%, but we had asked for, and they were going to include language that at least if we were getting a really good deal from a transportation provider, and in some instances we are. I mean, we literally have providers that probably take a loss just because they want to make sure those people get out of their group homes and do whatever it is they do during the day. They're willing to do that. What I wanted to do was to take those contracts where we're already getting a good deal and hold them harmless from any across-the-board cuts. That would move us a little closer to standardization, but I don't suspect that's what you had in mind. That's probably a little bit more of a longer-term project for us.
This is for Pasco County that they're saying, so I'm sure they're not talking about Area 13 here, because the question is, they're saying that the area office is reluctant to help and provide information or answer questions. So I guess, what do they do?
Did you get my phone number? Call with the details. Call with the details. I'll put you in touch with who you need to talk to. You just heard me rant about I want our program, our area offerings, to be accessible and responsive, and if that's not happening, I want to know about it.
That's pretty much it, except for the individual had several questions on here. I think that it'd be personal APD staff could answer for you. And Ms. Dean, same thing, we'll either give you a call or you can come and ask a question.
Can we have an email address for you also?
Okay. It is it's on our website, but my email address is Jim _DeBeaugrine @ apd.state www.fl.us.